A Carmel man died in an early morning crash. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. The former Ellsworth city manager is responding after being fired earlier this week. And Republican lawmakers are shining a light on the possibility of a new sales tax for streaming service subscriptions in the state. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Wednesday afternoon. Looking pretty good out there now. Just a partly cloudy sky being seen in a few spots, though, while many other spots enjoying some sunshine as well. Let's zoom things out. This area low pressure over the ocean now, finally starting to track off to the east. This will take the clouds away with it. We will eventually have to watch out for more clouds on the way, though, with another wave of energy located right about in here that'll hit the northern parts of the state as we head towards tomorrow. But for now, though, a partly cloudy sky in some spots, though. Notice, though, more clouds on the way later on tonight. There is that wave of energy, maybe a little bit of snow in the northern parts of the state. As we head towards your Thursday, we should stay dry overall. As for the winds, though, starting to back off now. We'll be under a 5-mile-per-hour sustained wind tonight and looking pretty good for the daytime tomorrow, too. So finally, the winds starting to relax. So for the rest of today, lower 50s, partly cloudy and breezy, with that north wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour at times and then backing off. For tonight, here we go. Lower 30s, not very cool, mostly cloudy, with that southeast breeze only at about 5 miles per hour. For tomorrow, here we go, upper 40s under a mostly cloudy sky and a southeast wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. All right, that hourly forecast for the rest of the afternoon period. Clouds at times, sunshine at times as well. It'll be very hit and miss, a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Temperatures in the 50s before we start cooling off. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. A Carmel man died in an early morning car crash on Outer Hammond Street in Bangor. Police and fire departments responded to the scene at about 1:30 a.m. after a caller reported a vehicle off the roadway with an unresponsive person nearby. When emergency personnel arrived, they found 36-year-old Alan White of Carmel deceased. Police say they determined White was traveling west on Hammond Street when his vehicle went off the road and rolled over several times. White was ejected from his vehicle during the crash. Police say speed was a contributing factor. A Waterville man has been arrested after allegedly threatening to kill the president and other top officials. 45-year-old Benjamin Brown is charged with transmitting a threatening interstate communication, which is a violation of federal law. According to the Morning Sentinel, Brown was arrested after he posted comments on YouTube over several years, claiming he was stockpiling weapons and wanted to kill President Biden and other elected officials. In a recent post, he allegedly said he was going to buy an AR-15 rifle to prepare for a revolution and that he also had the right to kill illegal immigrants. A Canadian man has been arrested in connection with an alleged burglary at the University of Maine Alfond Arena. Police arrested 56-year-old Stephen Van Roboys from Ontario a little before 8:30 Sunday morning. University of Maine Police Chief William Flagg says an officer saw a vehicle parked near the Alfond Arena that had been reported to them the previous day for suspicious activity near the building. The officer investigated and found an unsecured door to the arena. Flagg says an officer found Van Roboys inside, allegedly in the act of stealing various items. Van Roboys is charged with felony burglary. As we told you yesterday, Glenn Mosier has been fired as the police chief of Ellsworth. The move comes following an investigation by city officials that has kept the public in the dark. Our Doug Banks has more on the situation and a statement from Mosier himself.
Following an executive session held on Monday, Ellsworth City Council voted 6-0 to terminate Glenn Mosier's role as chief of police. Now, subsequently, they also voted 6-0 to appoint Deputy Police Chief Troy Byers as interim chief of police.
The City of Ellsworth's communications specialist states Mosier is still on paid administrative leave as city manager. Matthew Williams will continue to serve as interim city manager until Charles Pierce steps in April 1st. The press release also states due to state law restrictions, the City Council is unable to disclose specific details about confidential personnel discussions. In a letter on behalf of the Ellsworth City Council, they begin by saying Ellsworth is going through a period of big transitions, with other transitions being in response to events we could not have predicted. The letter states if a complaint is made involving the city manager, the City Council is the investigating body. While information about these recent events has been withheld, the City Council acknowledges the public's frustration, but states the employee's right to privacy must prevail. City Councilor Tammy Moat was absent from Monday's executive session vote. After 13 years as a patrol officer, Mosier assumed the role of chief in 2017. In a statement, Glenn Mosier told us in part, quote, While I regret that my employment for the city of Ellsworth has come to an end, I am proud of my numerous accomplishments over the last 20 years. I am honored and privileged to have worked alongside many wonderful people over the years and wish them all the best. To read the full statement, visit our website, foxbangor.com. In Ellsworth, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A fast-moving fire in Guilford had crews sounding a second alarm at around 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. Crews arrived on the scene at 8 Bates Court in Guilford to find flames shooting out of the upstairs window. Officials say having enough manpower and a good attack plan kept the fire contained to one apartment in the 3-family building.
We got it knocked down within probably the first 20 minutes and then mostly overhaul from there, but being an old building, very hard to control, but we controlled the one first apartment.
Reed says the fire may have started in a bedroom closet area. Fire marshals were called to the scene to investigate. It is believed that a quick call from one of the homeowners helped the firefighters get to the scene quickly so that they could save 2 out of the 3 apartments. The rising cost of doing business has forced Delta Ambulance to consider increasing its fees for transporting residents. Matthew Juronczyk has the story.
Communities that are served by Delta Ambulance are looking for answers after the first responder service announced that there would be a rate increase.
Reimbursement for the last 50 years has remained the same. However, expenses have increased.
Delta Ambulance is a private paramedic company that was created in 1972 by 3 Waterville hospitals. It currently serves 13 towns in the greater Waterville area. This is the second time in the past 2 years the company's increased its rates. Delta Ambulance's Director of Finance, Jasmine LaCroix, says prior to the pandemic, Delta did not charge a service fee to its communities. Last year, the company started charging communities a service fee of $15 per person. Still not making enough money from this, the proposed price this year was increased to $25.
We had to increase our payroll, increase expenses with the same amount of reimbursement. We realized that we needed that $10 increase for our budget to just break out even. There is no profit on this service charge.
While we understand the need for increases for Delta, if we could have done it in a much smaller fashion so it didn't have as much of a financial impact in any one fiscal year.
However, a combination of staffing shortages and low reimbursement charges from insurance companies has Delta in a tight financial spot.
We're just breaking even from the townspeople. We are also asking the hospitals for a service fee as well because we are 50% transfers and 50% emergencies. We are not looking at this time to make a profit, just able to continue running our company.
Matthew Juronczyk, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, improvements are coming to the Bangor International Airport. We've got the details when we return.
Want luxury hair repair that doesn't cost $50? Pantene's Pro Vitamin Formula repairs hair, as well as the leading luxury bonding treatment for softness and resilience without the price tag. If you know it's Pantene.
Bother the bugs. Not your family. Zevo is made with essential oils which attack bugs' biological systems. It wipes cleanly, plus is safe for use around people and pets. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
My name is Pam Crowley. In 1 year, I had to take care of burial or cremation arrangements for 4 family members, including my husband and my sister. I could not have gotten through everything without my funeral director, Cindy, at Bragdon Kelly Funeral Homes. Cindy greeted us as a friend. During her arrangements, she was so personable. Cindy is so patient and understanding. She gave us assurance, comfort, and she has such a great smile. The best thing that Cindy did is take such good care of my husband. He had some issues before his death. I felt very worried that he would not look right. When I saw him, he looked like my husband. Cindy took excellent care of him. Seeing him definitely helped me feel right. Cindy did more than I ever expected of a funeral director.
Bragdon Kelly Funeral Homes. Let our family serve yours.
With remote access from Katahdin Federal Credit Union, you can manage your money from anywhere. Don't let banking get in the way of living. Remote access from Katahdin Federal Credit Union.
Spring is the season of rejuvenation and the perfect time to revitalize your home with Renewal by Andersen. Our spring savings event is only once a year. Call Renewal by Andersen to schedule your free window diagnosis and take advantage of this incredible limited time offer. We've installed over 4 million windows, earning us 4.7 stars in customer satisfaction. Call the number below or visit us online today. And remember, call now because these great savings end soon.
The better way to a better window. Renewal by Andersen.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The Bangor International Airport is set to begin 2 major renovation and improvement projects. Airport manager Jose Saavedra says that the airport runway is one of the longest on the East Coast, but it is at the end of its useful life. He says airport runways are typically redone every 15 to 20 years, and they finally have the funding. The other project will create additional gate space by connecting the domestic and international terminals. It also creates more seating and more workroom for people waiting to board flights.
We have a lot of exciting things coming to the airport, and passengers will have a little minor inconveniences. But I think when we look at the big picture, the improvements and changes that we're bringing into the airport are great things for the community and for the passenger experience. And so I'm looking forward to not only these projects, but other big things coming our way.
As passenger traffic numbers have increased more than 30% in the last 5 years, and there is a high demand for more space and amenities. The $14.2 million renovation and reconstruction project is federally funded. Passengers can expect to see construction beginning in April. A push to change Maine state flag back to the original pine tree design may be another facing delay at the State House. A bill was approved last legislative session to allow voters to decide if they want to keep Maine's current flag or revert to the original 1901 design. Lawmakers in the state and local government committee are currently backing a bill that would push off the referendum until 2026 and create a 5-member commission to recommend a new design to the Secretary of State. Both the House and Senate must approve the creation of a special committee. If they don't, the new flag design question will appear during the November election. Republican lawmakers are shining a light on the possibility of a new sales tax for streaming service subscriptions in the state. According to Republicans, they first learned of the proposal when reviewing the supplemental budget proposed by Governor Mills. Currently, streaming services are not taxable in Maine. If the proposal went into effect, it would implement a 5.5% sales tax on all forms of streaming services such as Spotify, Netflix, and Hulu. Senator James Libby, who sits on the taxation committee, says Mainers don't need another tax.
And in this digital age, everything's subscription-based, everything's downloaded. You got to think about, well, you know, down the road, how much we're going to collect here as a state in this new tax. It's just outlandish that this got put in the budget, and I haven't heard a thing about it, and I'm glad that we're able to expose it today. And Republicans care about people.
The bill to enact the tax had a public hearing last week and is still waiting to be voted on by the Taxation Committee. Some have said if you scratch the skin of a Mainer underneath, you will find a Canadian. Maine's close connection with French and Acadian heritage was celebrated at the State House Tuesday. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard has the story.
Le Sénat serait en ordre. The Senate will be in order.
Tuesday was Franco-American Day at the State House, a day to honor the French and Acadian heritage of the state. The first part of the Senate session was conducted in French and English, with 3 national anthems being sung. French, Canadian, and the United States.
The Franco-Americans, did so much to build the state of Maine, build this country, their culture, the heritage.
A ceremony was also held to honor the 9 newest inductees of the Maine Franco-American Hall of Fame.
And to recognize certain individuals who have Maine connections, who have during their lives supported those links between the Francophone world.
According to Jackson, one of the reasons it's so important to honor French and Acadian heritage at the state level is that for many years, the government banned the speaking of French in classrooms, effectively limiting its fluency in an entire generation.
They actually say that, like, my generation is a lost generation because, like, my parents, grandparents could speak French, but they never taught it to my parents. Thereby, I never heard it, and I had 3 grandparents that could speak French. So, in that, regardless of what, heritage you are, when somebody tries to stamp out your heritage, that is absolutely wrong and something I'm never going to agree with.
At the State House, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Millinocket is expected to be just outside of the center line path for totality for the upcoming total eclipse. Local businesses are gearing up for multiple days of events and festivals to showcase the biggest small town in Maine. Grace Blanchard has the story.
There's an expectation that there could be 20 to 50,000 people coming to Millinocket to see the eclipse.
As many small northern Maine towns prepare for an influx of thousands of visitors on the day of the eclipse, the New England Outdoor Center and Katahdin Resorts is planning their largest festival yet.
There are going to be more people here than the area can handle, so we've designed a festival type day for the eclipse where we have 5 bands playing at 3 different locations.
The owner says, like most rentals in the area, their lodging is completely sold out, but they are selling over 400 eclipse packages for a full day of festivities.
The eclipse is sort of additive to our normal routine, and now it's helping make up for a piece of our normal routine that we've lost, so that's great.
He says the lack of snow made a significant dent into the area's outdoor winter recreation season.
Really devastating for our economy, and so for that reason, we are hopeful that this is going to give a nice boost, a shot in the arm, certainly to our hospitality industries, but also to organizations.
The Katahdin Chamber of Commerce board president says they have been planning events across 7 different communities in northern Maine for months.
It really came together quite rapidly once people realized this is a big deal.
The community hopes to showcase all the area has to offer.
People are really going to get a chance to see Maine that haven't had a chance to see it before. So hopefully we'll have good weather and people will really have a great time.
In Millinocket, Grace Blanchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
After the break, the Pentagon has announced a new emergency aid package for Ukraine. We'll be right back.
You may be eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan if you are turning 65, have limited income, or you are moving. See how a WellCare Medicare Advantage plan could get you some big benefits, including this all-in-one WellCare Spendables debit card to use for over-the-counter health items. Find out how easy it is to get all of your original Medicare coverage plus extra benefits. You could have medical coverage, coverage for prescription drugs, dental, vision, and hearing, and the WellCare Spendables debit card to make getting the coverage you need more convenient. The WellCare Spendables debit card can be used for over-the-counter health items. And here's more good news. You can get a WellCare Medicare Advantage plan with a $0 or low monthly plan premium. How can WellCare offer all of those benefits for a $0 or low monthly plan premium? It's simple. Medicare Advantage and Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage are important parts of Medicare. WellCare has a contract with Medicare to offer and provide these important options to you. Call right now to get your free copy of the WellCare All-in-One Guide. Call 877-423-4612 now. There is absolutely no obligation for requesting this free information. WellCare offers benefits that go beyond the basics, and we make them easy to use so you can support your best health. Call a licensed sales agent to see if you are eligible to enroll today and get your free copy of the All-in-One Guide with absolutely no obligation. Your free guide will provide information to make a smart choice for your health care coverage. Just call 877-423-4612. Remember, there's no obligation for requesting this free information. So call 877-423-4612. Call today.
Does your dream kitchen look like this? Or this? Or maybe you need a little more inspiration? Get it when you explore the complete in-store showroom displays at Hammond Lumber Company. When you find the look you like, the Hammond team will help you customize it, including accurate 3D renderings, so you can visualize your project before the work begins. Hammond offers delivery from any of the locations across Maine and New Hampshire and professional service after the sale. Your dream kitchen begins when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
TikTok is one step closer to being shut down in the U.S. The House is passing the bill that would force TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, to either sell the app or get blocked in America. Lawmakers say this is an issue of national security. ABC's Perry Russum is in Washington.
TikTok's time may soon be up.
The yeas are 352, the nays are 65.
Today, the House passing the bill calling for TikTok's parent company ByteDance to either sell the app in 6 months or get blocked in the U.S., effectively killing the app.
And it's not about TikTok, it's about ByteDance.
ByteDance is a Chinese company lawmakers argue is tied to the Chinese government, putting users' data at risk.
Foreign adversaries like the Chinese Communist Party pose the greatest national threat of our time.
A TikTok spokesperson says they have never shared user information with the Chinese government. The app is used by about 170 million Americans. That's more than half the U.S. population.
I just use it for recreational use.
It really knows what to kind of send my way.
I get most of my news actually through TikTok.
Lawmakers say that's one of their main concerns, a Chinese-owned company having the ability to control what more than half the American population sees and does not see in the palm of their hand.
Additionally, TikTok's pervasive influence among young Americans makes it an ideal tool for the CCP to propagate its narratives, shape perceptives, and advance its geopolitical agenda.
A spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry accuses the U.S. of bullying behavior. TikTok creators on Capitol Hill yesterday.
This app is so much more than just an app for dumb TikTok dances. This is a life-changing app.
The bill now heads to the Senate. If it passes there, it goes to the president to sign into law.
If they pass it, I'll sign it.
TikTok has been pushing back in its own way on its own app. They are asking users to contact lawmakers to try and kill the bill before it becomes law. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says the U.S. is concerned about a ground operation in Rafah. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he plans to invade against Biden's warnings, though Sullivan denied the president has drawn a red line over the situation.
The president has been very clear about our position on Rafah, and our position is that a military operation in Rafah that does not protect civilians, that cuts off the main arteries of humanitarian assistance, and that places enormous pressure on the Israel-Egypt border is not something that he can support. We are talking to the Israelis about that. We are working through it, and I'm not going to stand at this podium and entertain hypotheticals on it.
Netanyahu says the Israeli military has destroyed 3/4 of Hamas battalions and believes the fighting could be over in less than 2 months. He has not shared the U.S.'s view that the two-state solution in the region. On Tuesday, the Pentagon announced a new $300 million emergency aid package to provide Ukraine with weapons and ammunition, money that was handed out through the Presidential Drawdown Authority. This week, Ukrainian officials claim to have hit 2 oil facilities deep inside Russia during a wave of attacks across 8 regions. Meanwhile, Moscow claims that it thwarted border raids, killing more than 230 Ukrainian fighters. While it's impossible to verify war accounts, the White House warns Ukraine's situation on the ground is dire.
We're able to provide this PDA due to negotiated savings on contracts to replace equipment from previous drawdowns for Ukraine.
The aid announcement came as Poland's prime minister and president met with President Biden at the White House to mark 25 years since Poland joined NATO. Both men, along with Biden, urged Congress to pass critical aid for Ukraine. Keep medication out of the reach of children. A new CDC report shows more children are going to the emergency room after taking too much melatonin. With more, here's ABC's M. Nguyen.
A surge in melatonin use at home has been going on for the past 20 years. A new study from the CDC reports that for children aged 5 and under, Over 7% of emergency room visits between 2009 and 2021 were due to unsupervised ingestion of melatonin. Researchers looked at data from medical records and emergency room visits and found that almost 11,000 visits were related to children taking too much melatonin. While almost none of these cases were hospitalized, the CDC reminds people that unintended or unsupervised use of medication can lead to potentially serious risks, especially in children. Keep medication in a cool, dry place, and up and away from children's reach is an important part of safe medical storage at home. With this Medical Minute, I'm Emwin, ABC News.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota. Imagine all the slopes you'll conquer.
Sick.
Imagine all the sights you'll see. Wow. Whoa. Okay, how about you imagine dropping me off?
Right now, you could get special low 4.75% financing for 60 months on select luxurious all-wheel drive Highlanders, which could save you up to $2,800.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Are your gutters weighed down by debris causing them to sag and overflow? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. Clogged gutters lead to costly repairs for your home, so skip the cleaning and stop the clogs with Gutter Shutter. Gutter Shutter, the world's best gutter, is a high-performance gutter with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. Stop the clutter, get Gutter Shutter. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Great Scott! This is Green Bear 420 in 2010. What kind of trip is this? I gotta get back to 2023. Wait, it's 2015. So much has changed. In 2023, we had a lot more glass, t-shirts, and novelties. It's gonna take a bolt of lightning to get me home. Finally, home at last. Now Green Bear 420, Green Bear Green Care is bigger and better than ever. To be continued.
Winter is flu season, and not only that, but COVID is still with us, as is RSV. Remember, it takes your body about 2 weeks after you get any vaccination to ramp up those antibodies. Now is the time for you and your family to get vaccinated against the flu, COVID, and RSV. Updated vaccines are now available for flu and COVID-19, and depending on your age, active steps you can take to prevent RSV. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist, or go to vaccines.gov. A message from the Maine CDC, this station, and the Maine Association of Broadcasters.
Welcome back. The sun is shining. Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs.
Today's full weather forecast is brought to you by Healing Hands Massage in Hamden, providing professional massage services tailored specifically for their clients. Stop by Healing Hands Massage today. You'll thank yourself later. Wave heights not too bad. They're starting to go down now. Advisories are expiring too. 1 to 2 foot wave heights located right about here just off the southwestern coast of Maine. Otherwise, the other areas seeing up to 6 foot wave heights. Still a little bit active, but improvement being seen with low pressure moving away. We do have clouds that are developing out there now. A lot of them starting to move away, but still though on and off cloud coverage will be expected today. We'll call it a partly cloudy sky overall. Well, there's that area low pressure right about in here that's taken the clouds away with it. This next wave of energy here will give a little bit of snow to the northern parts of the state as we head towards tomorrow. The rest of us will be staying dry. Even this system not looking very impressive at all. Otherwise, though, futurecasts moving forward showing that partly cloudy sky across the region for us this afternoon with even more clouds on the way. Later on tonight, we'll call it a mostly cloudy sky. There's a little bit of snow possible in the northern parts of the state as we head towards your Thursday. The rest of us, so I do believe we will stay dry under a mostly cloudy sky. We'll just maintain that cloud coverage as we head towards Thursday night, and also in the parts of Friday morning with another chance for a little bit of rain coming up as we head towards Friday morning. We'll keep an eye on that. As for the gusty winds, though, this is the last little bit of that right here. And even through this afternoon, the winds will start to decrease and really calm down tonight. Maybe a few gusts up to 10 miles per hour, and that's about it. And even through parts of Thursday, still looking pretty good. Maybe a quick gust up to 15 15, maybe 20 miles per hour, and that's about it. Nothing too crazy to worry about there. But we were pretty nice temperature-wise yesterday. We made it up into the 40s, which is above normal, though, and we have even warmer temperatures on the way for us today. Average high temperature 39 degrees, lower 50s today, back in the 40s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, also into Monday. The number 30s, though, as we head towards your Tuesday, so temperatures get rather consistent starting tomorrow. Lower 50s today, partly cloudy and breezy. The north wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour at times and gradually backing off throughout the afternoon. For tonight, here we go. Lower 30s, not as cool. We'll be under a mostly cloudy sky with a southeast breeze at about 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, here we go. We have upper 40s under a mostly cloudy sky and a southeast breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. A few higher gusts cannot be ruled out. Alrighty, here's a look at extended forecast brought to you by Healing Hands Massage. Some rain and snow chances on Friday with highs in the mid 40s. Upper 40s Saturday with a chance for rain showers, and more rain showers on Sunday with highs in the mid 40s.
Thank you, Devin. Still having trouble adjusting to that time change, but I am liking walking to the parking lot with a lot of daylight. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening with Peter Dubois and Beth Jones on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.